Hi everyone. Hello everyone. How is everybody doing? Welcome to VCTV, the Venture Capital TV from La Token. You're watching VCTV from La Token. That's correct. So I'm back this week on VCTV with my new background. I hope everybody likes it. I look forward to your feedback after the show. Uh, so basically today on VCTV, we're going to discuss about e-commerce and consumer tech trends, investments, what happened in this year because we are ending 2020 soon. So what were the big stories in this space? So before I start my panel, I've got a new speaker on my panel. I'm very excited to have the regular speakers and new speakers all the time. Before I start my panel, I would like to introduce myself and a little bit about VCTV. My name is Sunny Mohanty. I'm the regional director of La Token. I'm based in Singapore. I host VCTV every day, 8 p.m. Singapore time, Monday to Friday. VCTV was born in March 2020. So it's a platform where we connect investors with startups and founders. The idea, the goal remains the same with Blockchain Economic Forum, the road shows that we were doing before 2020. Because of the pandemic, the road shows stopped, travel stopped. Hence, we got back to our online platform very quickly. And there you go. This is VCTV. We've been running this since the beginning, almost beginning of the year. Since March 2020, I've been hosting these shows, and I love VCTV. This is the right platform for founders and entrepreneurs who are looking to raise funds, network, meet new people, make new friends. Again, investors, speakers, if you're looking to co-invest into a startup, if you're looking to collaborate with other investors and co-invest, this is the right platform for you as well. So yeah, that's VCTV, and that's me. And audience, welcome back on VCTV again. Okay, fantastic. I have got all my speakers in today. Okay, fantastic. I'm not going to move too much. Just conscious of the virtual background. Alrighty, I'm just trying my best to be well seen. Okay, great. Welcome back, Kartik, Tushar, and Gary, and Patrick. I think this is the first show on VCTV, and welcome to VCTV. I would like to start with Kartik. Short introduction, speakers, about yourself, the company you represent. After that, we go on to the questions, which is very relevant to the topic on e-commerce and consumer tech. So yes, Kartik, over to you with your introduction, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonny. And yeah, as I continue to increase the count, this is show number 21, and it only gets better. Thank you so much for seeing us around. To give you a quick background, I represent multiple interests. I have been a serial entrepreneur in the e-commerce space. Today, I run e-commerce and omni-channel business for a few businesses in the Middle East, and I am on a panel of a few venture capital houses and family businesses that continue to invest in health tech, fintech, and e-commerce. And in terms of my disclaimers, I have 2 live interests and 2 startup interests in this space, in specifically in the consumer-facing e-commerce businesses.
Fantastic. There you go, Kartik. You're on the right panel. Welcome. Okay, next I have Patrick. Patrick, how are you today? And welcome to VCTV. And where are you dialing in from?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm pretty unique in this case. So I'm representing my 2 companies, Kaifu Investments and then Everlast Trade and Investments, which are both based in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. However, I'm dialing in from my home in Cleveland, Ohio. I came back for the holidays, and then with the pandemic, I'm kind of stuck here and just working online. But with that, it's helped me, propel my interest in kind of the business that I was kind of doing. So back in Vietnam, we specialize in offering foreign investments as well as trade opportunities for Vietnamese companies and investors to invest and find business partners in the United States. So that's kind of the reason why I came back with travel. I couldn't go back and forth. So I set things up. I did what I needed to do in Vietnam over the past few months. And now I'm kind of following through here in the States. And then we'll return probably in March and whatnot. But for me, similar to Kartik, you know, I'm very diverse. I've worked in, you know, multiple different fields. And then primarily the reason why I'm here today is I'm starting different platform for Vietnamese manufacturers to go online to find potential buyers in the United States. And I'm creating a website, and that's why I'm here today. So thank you.
Oh, that's great. Good to know that you're a neighbor. In the sense, you were based here in Vietnam because of the pandemic. You've gone back home, but hope to see you soon in Asia, back in March 2021, I guess.
Yes, I've been in Asia for the past 10 years. So being in America is actually very unique for me. So I've been in Taipei, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Hong Kong, and now I call Ho Chi Minh City my home. So.
Oh, perfect. Lovely, beautiful, beautiful place. I've been there many a times.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Thank you so much. And hopefully we can meet someday in Singapore.
Yes, certainly.
Perfect. Next, I have on my panel Tushar. And Tushar, welcome back. How are you today? How is Gurgaon?
I'm good, Sunny. Gurgaon is good. And how are you doing? It's good to see you smiling. And it feels like the vaccine is around the corner and everybody is so, gung-ho. It also, ups my mojo. So a little bit about myself. This is my second time on VCTV. I have a startup angel network and a small fund which I use to invest in fintech companies and also in consumer companies. So, this topic is of great interest to me. I've spent my time working for Deloitte and Touche, also Times of India's fund called Brand Capital. And I've also been on the debt side with the Russian company Systema. And great to see my friend Gary also on the show today. Hi, Gary. Good to see you back.
Hello, good to see you.
Yeah, so good to be talking about consumer businesses and pivots today with the esteemed panel today.
Excellent. So you've been almost everywhere, Russian company as well. Wow, good to know that. Systema.
Right.
Okay, fantastic, Tushar.
Gary has stayed in St. Petersburg, so so we have a lot in common.
Oh yes, of course. We know about Gary's. Yes, of course. Thank you for reminding that. Gary, so Tushar has done half of your job. Welcome back on VCTV. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm good. I look a little like, I can't move much.
I don't see Minnie Mouse behind you. It's kind of weird. I feel alone all of a sudden.
I know Minnie Mouse must be missing you all for sure.
It's good to see you. So my name's Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've done 16 companies. I've had 2 unicorns. So Click Software, I was on the original team of, sold for $1.35 billion. And also Eva, .ai, which is my latest company I started 4.5 years ago with a billionaire from Russia. I lived in Russia on and off for 14 years. So I lived in Moscow and St. Petersburg. I'm the CEO, president, and co-founder of GST Get Shit Done Venture Studios. We're based in Silicon Valley. We curate companies from all over the world, specifically AI. And yesterday I hit my 100th article that I've written in 1 year.
Ooh, congratulations.
On quantum computing. So I love AI. AI is the new electricity. Quantum computers and computing, it's a deal changer. It's a revolution coming, and I just love it. So and I've been on VCTV. So I calculated the number of panels in general I've done since March. It's 1,400. I've done 653 VCTVs. So
oh my God.
I've been involved deeply. And but this is through the digital transformation, each one of us needs to share information. And this is a great platform to be able to talk to people like-minded, Tushar, Kartik, now Patrick, yourself, Sunny, Carol, to be able to share ideas. And this is what it's all about. So, the difference between 1918 and the Spanish flu is we still can exchange ideas, even with, COVID here in the States at record levels. we're still able to share information and keep moving forward. So I love it. I'm looking for AI companies all over the world. I also started a $100 million fund for impact. I also have my personal money with some friends. We have about $100 million fund, and I did a $10 million seed fund when I started a couple of accelerators. So just anyhow, I'm here. I love the topic. I started one of the first e-commerce consulting companies in the U.S., so know a little bit about it.
Wow, Gary.
Just a
So
little bit.
650 VCTVs, 100 articles, and whatnot.
And a partridge in a pear tree. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
It's okay, cool. Thank you so much for adding a little fun element to VCTV all the time. Thank you so much. So yeah, we all set with the introductions of the speakers of the panel today. I'm going to start with Kartik about his opening remarks on the topic. He has a lot to share. We were just having a discussion before we went live. Really interesting insights coming out from Kartik. Kartik, over to you, please. Thank you.
So the way Gary mentions, even I've been a part of the 2000 boom, the 2011 boom, and now the 2020 boom. And all three booms have been absolutely different. 2000 to 2011 was about technology leadership, when anybody who could access technology found themselves to be a ruler in the business. But what has changed now is about consumer expectations in the e-commerce space. With technology being democratized, last mile being democratized, it's about the UX, the experience that a shopper goes through. And any platform, any business in this space that is able to reduce the gap between the actual and the virtual space and try and live up to the experiential shopping behavior that or shopping experience that somebody wants seems to be winning the space, be it Noon, be it Amazon, be it Flipkart in India, or be it any other platform in this part of the world. But what has happened is, in the last few years, businesses have changed from a technology pivot and have moved on to technologies, have moved on to platforms which are hitherto unheard of. And I was talking to you about Google's integration with Carrefour on the voice platform. So Google's enabled and is taking trials with Carrefour in France about ordering something on a telephone by just talking to Google, and get the orders get delivered to you in 4 hours. Debugging or decoding Amazon, and Gary would know this more than all of us put together, the AI/ML algorithms on the recommender engine that Amazon's built, what Tyro's tried and replicated in this part of the world, is something amazing. It's already driving around 38 to 40% revenues for Amazon. For a local player like Noon, it's already driving 27 to 50% revenues, depending on what type of the year are we talking about. Businesses have moved from conventional online platform selling into a lot more engagement based, with bots and chat bots bringing in electron, especially in the electronics e-commerce, around 15 to 20% revenues coming through automated chats, which replaces humans and brings in the element of assisted selling. Fashion industry in the e-commerce space with VR and with Magic Mirror, just about launched in this part of the world, has changed. But the biggest revolution has come in from the AR, VR, that what IKEA has introduced. And that is fastly being replicated by almost every business that I come across in this part of the world, which is about trying to incorporate your real life with the product online and bridge the gap through an omni-channel experience. All of us continue talking about omni-channel experience, trying to bridge the gap. But unfortunately, there are very few success stories. And Neiman Marcus was one of them. Unfortunately, they had to wind up. Topshop's already in the process of being wound up, which means apart from Virgin Atlantic and to a certain extent Best Buy, not a lot of retailers have been able to build that. But anybody who's trying to bridge the gap between online experience and offline experience, and looking at it from a customer first point of view and not from a product first point of view, seems to be winning the race here. So that's how I see the industry moving. I wouldn't say neither it's a sunrise industry nor it's a sunset industry. It is an industry that's pivoting at a pace that we've not heard of, with the only belief that how can we make that entire journey, that from the time he places an order to the time he gets the order in his house, in less than 3 hours. Everybody seems to be running for that particular space. And that's where the industry seems to be moving.
Very, very rightly said, Kartik. We were just discussing, like, we were talking to machines before, like Alexa and Google Home. Now machines have started talking to machines.
The Internet of Things, yes. And again, Gary would be able to substantiate this a lot better than me. The way Carrefour is working with Google, with the Internet of Things coming around and being experimented, refrigerators would be able to place order for for milk and butter in the fridge rather than human beings doing that. And that's not too far.
That's amazing to know. Like, whatever you just said. Yeah, Gary can, obviously he's shared an article and he's going to talk about it later. Thank you, Kartik, for those opening remarks. Next, I have Patrick. Over to you with your opening remarks for the topic today.
So I believe compared to the other panelists today that my qualifications are a little bit, not there yet. But so I'll just kind of touch on kind of what I know specifically, and that's between the transfer of business between the Asian and US markets. In the foreseeable future, it's probably the greatest transfer of monetary change that'll happen in the global economy. So, and then ideally what I've just come to find between the US consumers, what they're looking for is obviously with the pandemic, they've gone online and e-commerce has obviously become the choice of identifying potential partners. But right now it's been, in the US buyers have been shifting. They've been wanting to find potentially new, they've been working with suppliers for a long time. And then now with the pandemic, it's kind of switched things up. So a lot of new partners have been, or a lot of new buyers have been looking for new suppliers. And so in e-commerce, it's just been the area of opportunity that exists has just been organizing this. And then obviously having during the pandemic when people can't travel and go to these trade shows and meet with people directly. So it's come down to e-commerce is just find the way to best connect these and find these new buyers to meet these new suppliers, and then organizing this kind of chaotic mess that the pandemic has.
Okay, is that me who was frozen? Is
It's
it
kind of just
Patrick?
No, you are not frozen.
Okay, Patrick, you froze for a bit. Please carry on.
Are we good now?
Yeah. Okay, we okay
So
now.
I just wanted. So just kind of like the more of that, I think I could bring to the table to this discussion is just that the area of opportunity that exists between the US markets and Asian markets and how US buyers are looking to find and identify new suppliers for their supply chains. And then the area of opportunity that exists is to organizing this and being the first to be able to do this and then identify these, to be able to successfully meet individuals.
Just a question, are you only connecting the Vietnamese market to the US market, or is it Asia and US?
So for e-commerce, it would be Vietnam to US, but ideally for investments, when it comes to investments, my company, we offer investments globally to EU, Australia, and then as well as North America, so Canada and the US. But for trade and e-commerce, right now, primarily just Vietnam to the United States.
Got it. Got the difference. Thank you. Thank you so much for adding that to your insights. Next, I have Tushar. Tushar, over to you.
Yeah.
Your opening remarks, please.
Yeah, so I really love the topic consumer because consumer has been very strong, especially in India, since a long time. Our economy being a consumption-led economy. So India is like the third largest economy in the world by purchasing power parity terms. So consumer has always been strong. But things have changed, especially after COVID. And the trend has accelerated towards use of technology. The stickiness of the smartphone has led to a lot of change around consumer buying behavior. What I've seen in the last few months and a little bit more than that is a trend towards packaged products and the consumer wanting more packaged products, especially in the direct-to-consumer segment. So I've seen all kinds of products coming on a D2C basis. In the consumer side, on health and wellness has been a big aspect, and the delivery over the internet through telehealth. There has been a strong pickup, again, by the use of technology. Also on the e-commerce side, you look at Amazon, their business is up 40% in India. So, I'm sure it is up that much or more globally as well. So there has been a little bit slack in the e-commerce side because of curb on the Chinese investments in India. But overall, everybody is hopping onto the internet, and I've seen all kinds of companies from small cultural meals websites and stuff like that. So So the trend is there to stay, and there has been a remarkable pickup in social commerce as well. So, like in China, beyond tier one cities, social commerce is very strong. So we are seeing something of that sort in India as well.
Okay, great. Fantastic, Tushar. Thanks for sharing those opening remarks with us. Okay, last but not least, Gary, over to you, please, with your opening remarks for the topic today. Thank you.
Yeah, so again, I'm a country boy from Pennsylvania, so I like to keep it simple. But we have this. So the beginning of the pandemic, we've seen we saw explosive growth in e-commerce. So in fact, to the point where as we've talked about a few times, or spoken about, the supply chain was broken, so you couldn't get the right products at the right time at the right place. And I'm not going to mention toilet paper. Kidding there. Because my friends like Kyle are having the same problem again, by the way. It started.
Yeah. Yesterday you were saying, oh my God.
Crazy. But so, but look at what's happening. We've had our society's had to really transition over the last few months, and it started again. So there was a little bit of a dip, and it's gone back up again. So in just in 2020, online food and beverage was up, or it will be up about 109% over last year. So explosive growth. And then at the same time, I have a company in Singapore. It's called Soman. It's one of our portfolio companies. Soman's got a incredible technology called Maya, which is a composite of faces from the Southeastern Asia, and actually is now the social marketing influencer for Puma. So there's some interesting technologies, and we talk about areas like personalization, but I look at areas like hyper personalization and social commerce, being able to sell products through social media, but not just through social media. Imagine being able to insert the products within a YouTube video. And I have companies like that, which are the next generation. So we are back to basics. I mean, this is simple. There are a lot of people are home. They want to order products. They're scared. They don't want to go out. And quite frankly, it's a lot more efficient. I used to carry those boxes of bottled water to my house, and now I just order them from Walmart. The guy brings them to the door. It's a lot more convenient. I really like it, actually. And then I can go, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. I probably order a lot more than I did before, but I also get, I don't have to waste a lot of time. It's much more efficient. So I did start one of the first e-commerce consulting companies back in late 90s. And the company that I was associated with, Broad Vision, their stock grew 2,000%. And so we're at a point in time where then I remember people were saying to me, oh, why would we want to do e-commerce? I'm not going to give people my credit card and put it online. It's like, hello, PayPal now, people do use their credit cards, but we're now into the next iteration. The iteration is we can get whatever we want, but also being able to, if you look at shoppers, if they're 40%, 8% more likely to buy when things are personalized for them. So when you get offers, I love it. I mean, I go into some place and I was looking for some things for my sports car, and all of a sudden I don't know who hyper personalized it, but they got my deal. I started ordering. Oh, these customized mats. They're just exactly what I want. So that kind of shopping is great. And again, it goes back to what I've said before, is that, the amount of data that we have around us is 40 zettabytes of data, which is enough to go to the moon. And Tushar and I were talking about it yesterday, 29 times if there were DVDs stacked on top of each other. So we're inundated with offers. The thing is, we need intelligent assistants to be able to help bring the filter that information for us. And imagine how much more you would buy, right? It's not that the products aren't there. It's a product. The thing is finding them and making sure they're the right one for you.
All right. Thank you, Gary, so much. Sorry, I had to just move a little bit, shift a little bit. I think virtual background was actually not fitting into my screen. So that's why I'm back to the normal. Okay, great. So let's talk about investments. I would like to start with Kartik. Kartik, please enlighten our speakers about the investments that has gone into the space, because considering the digital transformation that accelerated because of the pandemic, I mean, a lot of people started shopping online and the e-commerce just went through the roof. Similarly, as you mentioned, with the food delivery companies, things have just accelerated 5 times more. So could you please share the investments that you've seen? Thank you.
So investments have happened in multiple spaces, Sonny. In the past, investments were always done in the core e-commerce. Everybody would come up with an idea. I want to sell shoes. I want to sell furniture. I want to sell clothes. I want to sell XYZ. And people would invest into the business and would start trading through a platform. Now the business has changed. Investments are being done in a lot of allied businesses. Data management in businesses, CRM as a solution, digital marketing as a solution. A lot of social media engagement investments are being done. A lot of investments are being done in AIML. A lot of investments are being done even on functionalities of the let's say the entire platform. So there's a lot being done on abandoned cart softwares. There's a lot of investments being done in payment gateway integrations. There's a lot of investments being done in the last mile connectivity. But where I see a lot of investments coming in specifically in the last 1.5 to 2 years, and more so in the last 6 months, is the last mile connectivity and the engagement down the funnel, which is primarily about the entire experiential relation or the relationship building part of the business that we talk about, be it the value services that people are talking, or be it the try and buy that we are talking, or a unique case is what Stitch Fix has done as an entire investment in its own self on trying to build a bespoke, personalized, made to measure platform which tries and controls the entire logic of purchase through an algorithm built around trying to understand the shopper. So that logic changes the entire pivot in which the investment hypothesis or the investment plans are being done. We no longer see, or we rather, at least in this part of the world, we've started seeing lesser number of people to investing into the mainstream or the bread and butter e-commerce, which is the entire platform and the business. But we see a lot more people investing in the fringe or the ancillary economies around it. I am particularly incubating one of the investments in the social media space and another investment in the AIML space, primarily in the recommender engines. That is what needs to be sharpened, because at some point, not only here and in any part of the world, the cost of acquisitions would start skyrocketing with competition being built up. So at any point in time, one would either need to work on increasing the average revenue per user, or to make sure that you would start bringing in the repeats. And all of that would come in only by bringing in a level of intelligence into the platform.
Great. So all these investments, Kartik, are you making in India and Dubai primarily?
Middle East primarily, which is Dubai, Qatar, Bahrain, and a lot in Saudi. Dubai reducing a little bit because the market, I wouldn't say is saturated, but market's overpopulated at the moment. But Saudi is a virgin market, and there are a lot of startups, small micro startups as we call them. So a Riyadh-based food delivery, a Jeddah-based grocery delivery, or a Dammam-based pharmacy business is trying to set up its own ecosystem, and then it's all controlled through a large distribution network. Is where we see investments coming in. The pattern of investments have changed, Sony. In the past, and I would take my example as well. I would be happy, or my investment committee would be happy to put in a few $1,000s, a few $100,000 on a business and tell them and see if it works as a proof of concept. But what has changed now is, over the period of last 8-9 years, we've got a little smarter. At least that's what we think. We've got ourselves equipped with all the layers of technology and infrastructure around us. So today, it's not just about dollars that is being pumped into business. Today, it's about purely incubating and creating a startup in my own ecosystem. So I don't give you dollars. I bring you into my ecosystem. I host you. We pivot around and we see if that's a scalable concept. And if it's a scalable concept, we democratize it.
One last question, because I have some startups from that region. So are you technology agnostic?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to connect you with some.
The only thing that we look at, if it's in the health tech space, it's about the democratization of health tech. If it's in the e-commerce space, it's about how scalable it is.
Sure. Got it. Thank you, Kartik, for sharing those insights. So next, Patrick, let's deep dive into the kind of investments that you made in recent times over 2020.
Yeah, no, certainly. So, again, over 2020, a lot of the investments for the clients that I've worked with, and again, this is apart from e-commerce, direct, but a lot of the clients have felt comfortable investing in real estate. For many reasons during the pandemic, real estate, is very stable and then has been extremely liquid, especially in the U.S. market. So a lot of my clients I've seen been making investments in real estate, but in terms of e-commerce and again, I'll touch on more of the upstream activities that, support the downstream for e-commerce. And I could tell you that a lot of the factories that I've been in association with, during the pandemic, rather than because again, the orders come and they always go. So they always have their operations like in tune. But what they've been doing to find competitive advantage by investing in logistics, whether this being like legitimately like buying their own trucks, getting their own drivers, or whether it be investing in more software so they can, manage their, their data and their products like more effectively. So again, for the upstream activities, a lot of the investment for activity, again, a lot of these manufacturers, they're kind of sitting there, and then once the order comes, they need to jump to it, and then a lot of that comes down to whoever is has the shortest lead time and can get it to them as quickly as possible. So that's the major investment that I've seen. So from the consumer side, I personally, consumers been investing in real estate during the pandemic. And then from the business side for e-commerce, I've seen for the upstream, they've been investing in their logistics heavily. So they've been hiring more and more workers to, just sit around and be ready to, jump and deliver this as quickly as possible and get this to, the distribution facility, rather than, hiring more workers to even get products done. So I found that really, really interesting. And that's how a lot of the manufacturers found competitive advantage during this pandemic.
Also, I'd like to ask you the same question, Patrick. Are you technology agnostic when it comes to investments?
Okay, it's very, very interesting that you said this. So again, my companies, we've been primarily helping individuals in Vietnam invest for outward. But recently during the pandemic, with Vietnam, there's heavy travel restrictions, no in and out. So it's kind of shifted our focus from outward to kind of more inward, while I did the US Vietnam business. But with that, we've been talking a lot doing a lot of research and looking more into investments in diagnostic technology to offer those services in Vietnam. So it's very interesting you said this. I've been speaking to a lot of different partners actually in India and then throughout Asia to help us with this. So it's something that we're very interested in, something that is something that, yes, coming inward to Vietnam rather than something that I specialize in outward.
Outwards. Okay, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. So startups and founders in Vietnam and Southeast Asia, maybe Asia. So please watch out. Thank you, Patrick. Next, I have Tushar. Tushar, let's talk about your investments for 2020 in the space as well. Thank you.
Right. So Sunny, our first investment was a video-led fulfillment HR marketplace. There are, a lot of unemployed people, and technology is clearly being used. And the corporates, they want to save on the payouts for acquiring employees. So video is something which works on the shorter retention spans, and hence, this was quite interesting. Then we did a nano influencer app. So after the advent of TikTok, everybody is a celebrity in themselves. So I was walking down a park in Delhi, in South Delhi, and it was filled with people taking videos, jumping, hopping. And I said, "What is happening?" And they said, "It is TikTok." And that led me to invest in the nano influencer app, because I believe the time for that has come. Then there's a gamification company which, after the success of Dream 11, which became a unicorn, this company is doing a Dream 11 for stock markets. So, you can actually do a virtual betting on the stocks and analyze your performance. And I thought the time has come for people to bet on, do a virtual bet on a stock market. Then there is a robotic company in Gurgaon which has created four types of robots. One for disinfection using ultraviolet rays, one for food delivery, one for education. And the last bit, the Supreme Court in India has stuck down manual scavenging. So now robotic scavenging is in. So this company has created robotic scavenging. And I really believe that if the time has come for scavenging to be done via robots and not by manual means.
Oh, great. I mean, are all these startups based out of India?
No, one is outside India, rest three are within India.
Okay, so you invest in India and what other regions?
And Singapore and Dubai.
Oh, wow, great. Good to know that. And talking about TikTok, I guess TikTok has been banned in India,
Yeah,
right?
TikTok has been banned in India, but just after it got banned, there are a host of apps which have come up and taking place of TikTok. So we have Chingari, the homegrown one, which is doing quite well.
Okay, and how do you differentiate, like, as you said, so many homegrown apps in the same space? How do you, before you invest, what factors do you consider?
So, I try to take a user experience, but, the number of downloads is a good enough figure for me.
All righty. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Tushar. Okay, Gary, over to you. We'd like to know about the recent investments. You've got so many companies under your portfolio. So we'd like to know about the investments in the space of e-commerce and consumer tech. Thank you.
Yeah, so I shared an article about Maya. So Maya is one of the companies that Soman is one of the companies in GSD Labs. So those kind of imagine having an influencer that is looked at as real. In fact, just FYI, we had to dumb down Maya because she looks so real. And again, she's AI generated that the companies that we signed agreements with had said that she looks like a person too much. Can you make her a little more fake?
Wow.
So I mean, that's how good AI is. But those kind of things are really interesting for me. And then I talked about hyper personalization. So the companies that we're dealing with are somehow have some type of impact in terms of hyper personalization. Being able to optimize across the online marketplaces, social media, retail, wholesale, those kind of plays are interesting for us. And then the virtual showrooms. I mean, we can't go into a showroom, but we want the experience today. So we need to use VR and AR to be able to allow those kind of things to be able to happen. So we can still have, because people still prefer to shop offline in brick and mortar. I mean, because it's not just the pandemic situation, but we like to be social and we like to ask questions, and it's more of an experience. So we need to enhance the experience here. The other thing is one of the videos, technologies that add videos. If you have a video within the online shopping experience, the sales dramatically increase. So you want to know what it looks like, how other people use it, those kind of things. And then imagine being able to, virtually whatever product you have. So in this hyper personalized marketplace, we understand we're so inundated with the information. I'm looking at companies that can aggregate it all together and give us choices that are more like not smart, but intelligent assistants. Imagine an intelligent shopping assistant that picks out the kind of things you want, predicts what you're going to need, right? And presents it to you. Imagine how many more things you would buy at the same time, how much more pleasant the shopping experience would get. So anyhow, those kind of things are really interesting for us. And AI is the core of it, because as I said many times, AI is the new electricity. And then the other thing is we have 5G and 6G coming into play, where we can have, speed and efficiency has been one of the challenges for online. So now we're finally getting to a point where we're up to speed.
Yeah, I just have to share one personal experience after Gary said the retail, like shopping experience. Like when you go to big shopping malls full of people, and you're trying to find the perfect, sort of dress for the evening party, maybe. I mean, it takes ages, and you have to, So I think that's going to be the space that they're going to get disrupted.
Yeah, I mean, virtual fitting rooms too, to try the clothes on to see what they'll look like on you. So I've been working with those kind of companies for years. But now the situation, and it's funny, I don't know, most people don't know, and maybe it's because of Zoom, but beauty sales went way up during the pandemic, right? Makeup and that kind of thing. So it's probably because people are on Zoom and they're getting looked at a lot, but those sales went through the roof.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely, Gary. Thanks for sharing those insights. Okay, I would like to now ask Kartik, any instance that you would like to share with your audience, considering with the end of the year, end of 2020, any particular startup by name that has startled you or surprised you in a good way this year? I mean, maybe if it's not from e-commerce, then it's okay. We just want to know sort of, what to say, a green story coming out of you.
Quite a few of them, actually, quite a few. And one that we've been particularly very cagey about, or very rather keen about, is a startup in the last mile delivery state in this part of the world, where it has gone down, and that is what has helped Carrefour build its entire algorithm of delivery in this part of the world, especially in the Middle East during the pandemic, is to go down to the last minute, last second driver details on a Google Map network to try and make sure that your food and your groceries delivered to your doorstep at exactly the time that it commits. The startup started with a business of just about $40,000 as an investment, and today, over a period of last 2 years, has gone and has acquired, I think, a B round at 40 or 47 million is what's the kind of investment that's already gone into it, and it's getting expanded into the entire Middle Eastern space, especially in Saudi and Dubai. Another startup is InstaShop. InstaShop has been a success story, started by 7 people with a business of just about 10,000 dirhams, got acquired by another business for 360 million 2 months ago. A complete pandemic baby, which started by aggregating the entire grocery business with 470, 480 grocers united and delivering products to your doorstep in 45 minutes with just about $1 delivery charge is the way that business has been moving. These two startups have been very successful in a space. Another startup coming in from India, primarily a tech-led startup that has surprised me is the way Gary was talking about, which is the Magic Mirror. They work closely with H&M in developing the Magic Mirror or democratizing the Magic Mirror across tube stations or certain tube stations in London, with a belief that Magic Mirror is the way forward in terms of taking, or rather shopping at the tube station where your dwell time is significantly high. So instead of spending your time doing nothing, you'd rather check yourself, your tab or your phone connects with the Magic Mirror, you check the products, you see how it fits onto you, place the order, and the H&M delivers it to your doorstep.
Wow, that is perfect.
These are 2-3 startups. One of them I personally invested, and the other two are cases where we've been involved as an advisor.
I mean, one point I just want to share, Kartik, after you said that the food delivery company, because prior to pandemic, we were not very much, sort of, how to put it, like when we deliver food, I wasn't placing food orders as much as I did in beginning of the 2020. I couldn't place myself if I was ordering the food at the right time, because obviously, I was not used to ordering food every day or on for lunch, So I think that's something, when you order and the food gets delivered on time, right in time for your lunch, is something as an user I'd be looking forward to.
But Sonny, I would throw a little bit caution onto this as well, because today the generation that we represent has seen both sides of the business. We are on the cusp of a change in the way business is done. So we've also seen businesses where shopping trips used to take 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours. We've also seen the food being delivered in 45 minutes. But and today that's why we bring the wow factor when somebody delivers that kind of experience. But unfortunately, we are spoiling the shopper with a lot of freebies and value adds that are coming his way, and hence the expectations are only going to increase. So tomorrow's shopper is not going to appreciate the fact that 45 minutes is the time that it takes you to deliver. He's rather going to be very unforgiving. When you take 5 more minutes, he's going to say you've broken the norm, because he doesn't understand that food used to take 5 hours to come to my doorstep. So the level of innovation and the change in the ecosystem needs to be continuous. This continuum, maybe I see a continuum at least till 2023, 2024, primarily when it goes into the AI/ML and AR/VR space. The next big thing in the e-commerce after voice is something that we are all waiting for. So let's see where the industry moves. But till voice, we have a lot of developments coming in. And if voice comes in and if voice becomes big, unfortunately, voice still hasn't become big, because while Google's able to build, Amazon's been able to build, a lot of retailers and a lot of distribution networks still haven't acquired the voice capability, A, and B, the algorithms to search and the algorithms to place orders or the algorithms to communicate still haven't come into that level. So that might take maybe some more time to come in, but yeah. That's where the future is heading to.
Yeah, Kartik, I mean, totally agree. I mean, as a consumer, we're not forgiving. We just need better service or products, as you rightly said. Thank you so much. Patrick, over to you. Any green stories for the topic that you would like to share that you've seen in 2020 so far?
Yeah, well, just when you this is kind of, I don't know, it's definitely on topic, but it's called the Capsule app. Again, it's right now, it pretty much just offers pharmaceutical and pharmacy services via the app, but it's extremely secure. It's designated like through doctors and the pharmacists. And I know this through a personal experience through one of my family members who lived in New York during the time, and this wasn't through COVID, but they had other health issues, and because of the healthcare systems being slammed, they had no way of kind of getting their pharmacy. When they got their medicine, it was wrong. And then when they got a hold of this app, they had direct communication to their pharmacist. You know, instead of like waiting and calling, it was like literally texting with your pharmacist. Everything was documented, so the user and the pharmacist and the doctor had a database where everyone knew what was being given out at what time, and then when prescriptions needed to be refilled. And then living in Asia, where the healthcare system's a lot less complex, and if you just need something, you just walk to a pharmacy and you can get it. Whereas in America, if you walk to the pharmacy, they're like, you need a doctor's prescription, but you're like, why do I need a doctor's appointment during a pandemic? Why can't, like, for something, let's say gout, like you have gout or something so minor, it's like, I can't abuse gout medicine, but I can't see a doctor right now. But hey, my doctor can release the prescription to the pharmacist. We can have an open conversation. And I just thought this was a remarkable, very simplistic thing that I hope will just kind of grow. And right now it's on the East Coast and on the West Coast, and hopefully it'll just spread throughout the United States. But then also to go with that, just other areas of opportunity for startups is definitely in the logistics and delivery. Again, living in Asia and how fast I can get stuff, and how there's no such thing as just like I don't need Amazon Prime. Like, it just within 3 hours, like I order it. I need, cat food. 3 hours, it's at my office. Like, I just go down, pick it up. I can take it home. Like in America, the area of opportunity they have in delivery and getting that product to that customer. And again, I've lived in I lived in cities like Shanghai, where the same aspect, there's no way a city of 25 million people. And I lived in this little apartment in this huge city, and there's no way I could get a product within 3 hours. In America cannot duplicate that same performance with their infrastructure that they have here. So that's the area of opportunity that I see in e-commerce. And then I just want to share a little side note, what I thought. The Capsule app, amazing.
Yeah, great. Patrick, what's the name of that startup that did the pharmacy connect the pharmacy doctors and the patient?
It's called Capsule. So again, I'm sure if you just go to the App Store of Android, just Capsule. So and right now it's only in New York, Boston, DC, like kind of the areas that were hit hardest during the pandemic in the initial stages. But I think it was remarkable, and it's like kind of revolutionary, because I don't think people were thinking about that. But because before they're like, well, pharmacists, we kind of want to, like, how we make money is you go see the doctor and then come here. But like, you pay for this app, everyone kind of gets more money, more people want to go see the doctor so they can get this. So it's, you pay a little bit of fee, but it's beneficial for all parties involved.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Remarkable. I think the same goes for Singapore as well. We wouldn't get certain medications are not supplied to you over the counter. It needs a doctor's prescription. It's the same here. But if you
Yeah.
have an app or capsule or whatever that connects the doctor and the pharmacist and the patient during the pandemic when we just couldn't get out of our homes, that is revolutionary for sure. Thank you, Patrick.
Exactly.
Okay, next is Tushar. Tushar, please share some green stories with us from your portfolios on the topic or generally that you'd like to share with our audience.
I would like to talk about two companies. One is a company which is gamifying education. So I saw my kids, they're on the screen all the time, and it's so, I mean, it's no doubt that they get a air of disinterest about the whole thing, because it's very difficult to manage that kind of intensity of learning, but still. So I came across this company which is gamifying education. It's started by a guy who's been into education space since almost 20 years now, and doing very well since 20 years. And I saw his product. His product was endorsed by Deepak Parekh, of the chairman of HDFC, India's best bank. And he also has a small investment there, a very token kind of. And Mr. Amitabh Bachchan is also there as an equity investor there. So it quite amazed me, the quality of the content around gamification which is being built there. So we are still like considering that. And there is one more. So that the legal tech in India has to pick up someday, because the time and cost associated with the legal cases out here. So this company has built a platform for arbitrators, and they have done it in consultation with very good names in the market, in the legal and the judiciary field. So this platform, I'm sure it's going to go places, because there is a requirement of it at this point in time.
Okay, fantastic. So what was the unique about this gamification educational?
So if you have played Candy Crush, right? I mean, you have these journey you have to take, and you have to play it in certain way because it's a game. But if you create the educational content in the same juicy, interesting, remunerative kind of way, teaching formulas, teaching tables, and very simple questions. So it's just so much more appealing, and good quality sounds and stuff. So that's very, very interesting.
Got it. That's the unique selling point. Thank you so much, Tushar. Kartik wanted to add something very quickly. Kartik, go for it.
So along with, and we've been discussing only about the e-commerce industry changing, but what's changed significantly along with it is the entire digital marketing and the consumer acquisition suite, as we call it. What used to be primarily a search or a display based algorithm driving in customers at anything between $20, $25 going up to $70 a user has changed significantly with changes in technology, with improvement in algorithms, shoppable algorithms, social shopping, influencer, content based, significantly has tried bringing in the cost to a level where it becomes not only affordable, it's also about trying in to make sure that the right shopper with the right intent, not from the top of the funnel, because Amazon will always own the top of the funnel and we're never going to find space anywhere there. So we jump right at the middle of the funnel, build a lookalike audience and bring it straight into the business at a significantly lower cost. And I see a lot of startups, especially startups coming in from the US, startups coming in from China, working very strongly on the middle of the funnel to try and make sure acquisition journeys are easier and audience spotting, which is geolocational or through any other cardinalization, becomes far more easier. I see a lot of interest coming in there.
Digital marketing space. Thank you so much for sharing those insights. So Gary, over to you now. I hope you're there. Okay, Gary's back. Yeah, sure. Gary, you are on mute, I guess. I can't hear you. Fantastic, Gary. So we'd like to know, you can summarize as a closing remark for the show on the topic. Sure. And yeah.
I mean, this pandemic this whole digital transformation has given us an amazing time to reflect, and also has dramatically increased the speed of areas like e-commerce. I mean, here we are on Zoom, right? If you would have said a year ago, wow, I'm going to use Zoom this much, they think there was something wrong with you. I remember, as I've said a few times, almost 5.5 years ago when I was one of the first Zoom users, and people said to me, why do I want this? I already have Skype. But here we are. And he's worth about $20 billion today, too.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it's a great time. Artificial intelligence, the data that's around us, we need to be able to use that data to make some actionable insights, to be able to streamline the user experience for customers, to be able to make it more real, to give the the key is the right product at the right place at the right time, to anticipate what a person wants and to be able to present it to them, to make it fun, to make it deep, and to make it immersive, personalized and immersive. So I think that's where, from my standpoint, those are the areas we're interested in. Like Maya, I showed you, that's right on the cutting edge. More Mayas out there. So,
I need the website address of Maya, and where can I find them in Singapore?
it's somin.ai. But if you Google just the name Maya, you'll see she's really, I mean, she's one of the top influencers in Asia right now. So it's incredible.
Can I meet her in person?
What's that?
Can I meet her in person?
Well, if you have enough cannabis, you can.
Oh.
It's funny because she actually gets letters from people falling in love with her and want to be friends with her. It's really uncanny. It's, people have really adopted.
I like that expression on your face.
It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's like amazing. But, I guess people have way too much time. And so, but that your AI is right when people start to write you notes saying they want to meet you and they want to be your friend, that kind of thing. So I'm really encouraged. This is a great time for us. Look at like chatbots, being able to use, having these a more personalized experience. I mean, it's tough calling. I did it yesterday, right? So I'm a customer of Google, and, being able to get through the, being able to get through the line to be able to talk to somebody to enhance your customer experience. It's fantastic. So we need more of those technologies. We know that online, it's, this pandemic, if we go down through and this vaccine works, we'll come out of this. We'll be back to brick and mortar, but it's going to be this hybrid model that we have now. People like being able to get the right product. If you want to, I buy parts for my sports cars, and I can't find those in any shop. It's just not like easy.
Yeah.
And I needed to buy a special remote control for my one car, and this just doesn't exist. It's not like I can go into a local shop. So I found it in the middle of the United States at a surplus store that in place. So those kind of experiences are great. So imagine being able to now cross-border shop. So if you look at it during this pandemic, the U.S. is number one, but China moved from, I believe, number 4 to number 2. So there's a lot of shopping outside of the borders today. So I like that. That's part of this digital transformation. So startups that are out there, look at all the data that's out there, hyper-personalized, VR, AR, go after it. Don't sit on your hands, get shit done, and move forward quickly.
Absolutely. And I know Richard Branson, but your other VCTV best moments, if you can share with the audience.
I mean, I got to tell you, son, this has been a very unique experience for me because it's, people said what it's like getting a PhD from Stanford University because I share ideas. I got to tell you, I mean, I've met a couple of astronauts because of you. I've met, sometimes in stealth mode, people don't realize who's really on here. I follow up with everybody. Like I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
And I've met some of the wealthiest families in the world have come in and their representatives are on VCTV. I backtracked it back and then I've been talking to those folks. So I got to say it's in entirety. It's just, you've developed a platform to bring the world together during these turbulent times and to give people hope. And, in a good, positive way, the friendships here, the people that I've met who I've never seen in person from around the world, I just love it. I've met people from Africa that I talk to regularly, India, Indonesia, Europe. I mean, you name it, literally. So you're bringing what the digital transformation has done as a backbone, the technology like the Zoom, you've actually put some meat on the bones and given it that part that makes it real. And so for that, it's great because the startups need it. You know, they don't know how to get to the investors now, like myself. They don't know what they really need to do to be successful on a global basis. You're giving them a platform to be able to express and to move forward in these difficult times.
Thank you, Gary, for sharing those lovely remarks with us. Thank you. Next, I have Patrick. Patrick, what's the closing remarks coming from you for this session today?
Yeah, for this session, I'll just say, well, thank you. This is my first time. This is great. Thank you for having me. And then also, just on top of that, you know, there's a lot of opportunity right now. And, you know, whether you're a business person, entrepreneur, venture capitalist, there's the opportunities there. But also it's 2020 and it's incredibly hard. So, you know, there's two types of people that people should try to shoot for two types of things. You know, be a warrior and go through the mud and, you know, find that opportunity and seize it. Or, you know, stay educated, watch things like VCTV, spend time with your family, relax, just, you know, don't fall behind, don't get beat down, but just hold your ground, take this time with your family because, you know, a lot of people are working really, really hard and just don't make it. And then, so, you know, it's also good if, you know, you don't push forward, just hold your ground, spend time with your family, stay smart, continue to research, look up ideas, research, you know, stay up to date. But, you know, things will rebound soon and, you know, we'll all be back to it. So.
Fantastic. Love that energy and positivity and spirits. Thank you, Patrick. Tushar, over to you with your closing remarks, please.
Yeah, I would like to say, Sunny, I mean, the moment the first vaccine is injected into the first person, the whole thing will suddenly start looking very different. So, although we have been continuously talking about post-COVID scenarios and you know what is happening out there, especially on the consumer side, but and you know also the fact that technology is here to stay. It'll only move forward, and people have also become quite adaptable to newer technology. But there are a lot of things which will again change back to the original state, and you know we have to sometimes also think in that kind of direction. But as of now, everybody should just watch VCTV, watch Sunny, and learn as much as possible about VCs and markets, and keep updated through this wonderful channel. It's always my pleasure to be out there with you.
Thank you,
and the
Tushar,
others.
for your very supportive words. Really appreciate that.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you so much. Kartik, yes,
Yeah.
Kartik, over to you, please.
So two parts. One is VCTV. I think in the past, when we used to reach out, rather the partners or startups used to reach out to us, it was purely about dollars, invest dollars into our business and see us grow. Now it is very, very meritocracy based, very, very domain expertise based. People specifically know whom to reach out where. So that has changed. And I think VCTV, you guys have been doing a fabulous job for that. One of the personal gains that I have had is to learn from everybody on the forum. And the quantum of AI that Gary teaches me every time on the forum, I am overwhelmed. And I continue to be overwhelmed with the quantum of AI ML that I learned from him. And it's an inspiration.
Totally.
The way to look at it is industries will evolve. Industries will evolve into something that we know. Industries will evolve into something that all of us might not fathom. But at least it gives us a foothold into where we are heading and what is the right direction to head into. Having said that, valuation games have changed, Sonia, and I continue to say this, especially in this part of the world. While there's a lot of dollars sitting on the fence, dollars only available to meritocratic startups. Dollars are not available to smart ideas any longer. Dollars are available to investment theses. Dollars are available into capital creation, or dollars are available into democratization of an ecosystem. So
Right.
if one wants to come back to the business, one needs to come back with not only an idea, but with an execution plan and a foolproof 3-year, 5-year road journey. And that is where we look forward to reaching out to the investor, reaching out to the partners.
And your best VCTV moments, please, very quickly.
My best VCTV moments have been obviously the first one where I didn't know what was I doing on a VCTV forum and I was just caught unaware. The second one was when I had to do a fireside with you and I still didn't know what am I supposed to do. But I think one of the best jokes apart has been when the guys have presented some fabulous case studies or they've pitched in, and then the conversations that happen beyond the moment, especially the blockchain sports and fitness company that presented, and then the conversation that we had beyond for a significant time. And I would rather encourage a lot more participative as we head into 2021, a lot more participative, domain-led, involved or domain-led, a replication of what Shark Tank does in certain parts of the world, to threadbare, get threadbare into a business, evaluate it, and then come to a consensus whether is there a merit into it, so that people invest, or rather startups, not only know that where to go, but they also know what should they be ready for. Because more often than not, startups come up with an idea, but the first question, and they're all over the place, and by the time the meeting's done, they go back with they go back so demotivated, they drop the idea. So rather, let them get prepared, let them get ready for the right exposure.
Yeah, you very rightly said, Kartik. This is one of the feedback was given by another investor speaker as well, Shark Tank, and we are working on that. Thank you so much for sharing those insights and remarks and making it so fun, informative, engaging today, as always. So startups and founders, if you are looking to reach out to Patrick, Tushar, Kartik, or Gary, please feel free to reach out to us. And this is the right stage we are setting for you to pitch your ideas and your company to these great minds. Again, investors and other speakers who would like to share the space with Gary, Kartik, Patrick, and Tushar, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to have you on our panel. Having said that, thank you so much. This is the end of the show. I look forward to have you all in another panel and the session and the topic. Until then,